On inventing the past, history is an active field of intellectual engagement for the Hindutva movement, and parts of that movement have been very involved in the rewriting of history, even though it is not surprising given the nature of the Hindutva creed that Indian history must play some part in the arguments presented by the movement. It is still worth inquiring precisely why these issues are taken to be so central, as a result of which Indian history has become such a battleground. What is its specific relevance in contemporary Indian politics, and why is Hindutva politics so keen on redescribing the past? I would argue that the answer lies in two specific features of contemporary Hindu politics. The first is the need for the Hindutva movement to keep together its diverse components and to generate fresh loyalty from potential recruits. The Hindutva movement reaps considerable strategic benefit from the variety of styles and modes of operation that the diversity of organizations within the Parivar allows. As a modern political party in a multi-party functioning democracy, the BJP itself is committed to parliamentary rule and does by and large listen to the views of others, but it can at the same time draw on support, sometimes violent support, from other members of the Hindutva family who can stay from the BJP cultivated urbanity and provide a harsher force. The two nation theory, which it must be emphasized is not a part of the BJP doctrine, is championed quite crudely by several sections of the Parivar. The solidarity of the diverse members of the Sangh Parivar is greatly helped by taking a united view of India's history as essentially a Hindu civilization. It is convenient for them that even a cultural theorist like Samuel Huntington has described India in exactly those terms as we discussed earlier. The rewriting of India's history in line with the message of Hindutva is extremely important for the cohesion of different elements in the Sangh Parivar. They can differ on political means and tactics, varying from soft-spoken advocacy to hard-headed violence, but still agree on a grand Hindu vision of India. The second reason for focusing on India's past is the large support for the Hindutva movement that comes from the Indian diaspora abroad, partly in North America and Europe, for whom it is quite important to be able to retain their general Indian nationalist attachment while embracing any other loyalty they may be persuaded to have, such as Hindutva. The two can be harnessed together by a narrowly Hinduized view of Indian history, which fosters the congruence of a Hindu identity with a more general Indian identity. The rewriting of India's history serves the dual purpose of playing a role in providing a common basis for the diverse membership of the Sangh Parivar and of helping to get fresh recruits to Hindu political activism, especially from the diaspora. It has thus become a major priority in the politics of Hindutva in contemporary India. Following the election victory of coalitions led by the BJP in 1998 and 1999, various arms of the Government of India were mobilized in the task of arranging appropriate rewritings of Indian history. Even though this adventure of inventing a past is no longer official because of the defeat of the BJP-led coalition in the general elections in the spring of 2004, that highly charged episode is worth recollecting, both because of what it tells us about the abuse of temporal power and also because of the light it throws on the intellectual underpinning of the Hindutva movement. The rapidly organized National Council of Educational Research and Training (NCERT) became busy from shortly after the BJP's assumption of office, not only in providing fresh textbooks for Indian school children, but also in deleting sections from books produced earlier by NCERT itself under pre-BJP management, written by reputed Indian historians. The reorganization of NCERT was accompanied by an overhaul of the Indian Council of Historical Research (ICHR), with new officers being appointed and a new agenda chosen for both, mainly in line with the priorities of the Hindutva movement. The story of Stephen Powellson comes to my mind. He was a Harvard graduate who worked as a company executive. One fine day, his firm shut down its European operations, and Powellson, at 60, found himself joining the ranks of the unemployed. Enforced retirement stared him in the face, but Powellson was not about to passively allow himself to become one of those retired folk who drift along aimless and lonesome. To avoid this prospect, he knew he had to keep his mind on its toes. He wondered how he could best do this. One day, he idly plucked out his time-worn college copies of Homer's Iliad, not the English translation but the original Greek edition. Browsing through it, he was delighted to find that so many years down the road, he still remembered the first 100 lines of the epic. So Powellson set out to do something unusual, to memorize the entire epic, 24 books containing 15,693 lines of verse. Just to give you an idea how momentous a memorization project this is, if you were to hold a reading session of the Iliad, it would take 18 hours of non-stop reading to go through the entire edition. But Powellson may memorize those 24 books sitting in his home in Versailles, France. He conquered the Iliad. It took him 10 years, but he did it. Just think of an unemployed man finding such purpose in life, rising to such stupendous challenge and emerging a winner. Patience, perseverance, interest. Powellson had then all. Now, which critic would want to rob him of his victory? If you had an elder sister or brother who helped you with your studies, you may already be familiar with some of those memorizing tricks that students use to smoothen the rough passage of the academic years. In fact, reading this chapter will probably have you recalling facts and figures, because you will recognize the memory cues. In any way, here they are. A year's calendar at your fingertips, the Sunday treat. You can amaze your friends by telling them the precise day on which any date of the year falls. No, you don't have to learn a calendar by heart. Let's do it, Bob, for the year 2000. You just need to learn a 12-digit number to know all 365 days of the year. For 2000, the number is 265 274 263 753. How do I get this number? Each number is the first Sunday of each month, starting with January, and ending with December. So it is like this. January 2, February 6, March 5, April 2, May 7, June 4, July 2, August 6, September 3, October 7, November 5, December 3. Say your friend tells you to name the day on which August 25 falls. Here's how you quickly